1985 is starting off with a bang, or maybe a pop. The thing is, I don't just find Balloon Fight to be pretty good. Balloon Fight is one of my favorite Famicom games. The story goes that Satoru Iwata programmed a version of Joust to sell HAL Labs' programming abilities for the Famicom. They got the job, but not the license. And so that version of Joust was reworked into the clearly inspired by, but still substantially different Balloon Fight. Eventually, HAL would obtain licenses to several popular Williams arcade games, including Joust, but we've got a while before we see those ports. In Balloon Fight, you strap a pair of balloons to your back and take to the skies. Those balloons aren't enough to overcome your weight, though. You're getting constantly pulled down, and so you'll have to flap to give yourself a little bit more of a boost upward. Pressing A once gives you a small boost, and holding down B flaps continuously. You can move faster by pressing A rapidly, but in general I found that just using B is sufficient to give you the control you need. You've got a lot of momentum and it's really only gravity that slows you down. So you'll need to flap to control your direction, accelerate and brake. People have told me they find Balloon Fight hard to control, but I never had a problem with it. In games A and B, your goal on each stage is to knock the birds out of the sky. You have to get above them and collide with their balloons. That makes them parachute down, and if you collide with them again, they'll fall down into the water. Any bird that's come to rest on a surface can just be kicked off, but they'll reinflate their balloon. The stages start with none of the balloons inflated for the birds, and so you have an opportunity to knock a few off before they get moving. There's 3 levels of birds: pink balloons, green balloons, and white balloons, and they get more aggressive with each. I do have trouble telling the pink balloons apart from the white balloons, even on a CRT though. When a bird's been kicked into the water, a bubble rises up from where they were knocked in, and that bubble can be collected for some extra points. The stage ends as soon as you kick over the last bird though, so you can never collect its bubble. Patrolling the waters at the bottom of the screen is a fish, and anyone who gets too close, player or bird, can get devoured by it instantly. Another complication comes from the clouds, which launch lightning bolts periodically that bounce around the edges of the screen. Don't overlook that you can go off the left-hand side of the screen and come back in on the right. It's a vital tactic for you to get one up on the birds, and it's something that the birds can use to come after you. There are 12 level patterns that the game runs through before it starts repeating, although it doesn't go all the way back to stage 1 when it repeats. You have 2 balloons rather than 1, so you can collide with the birds once before falling into the water. Having 1 balloon, though, does mean you have to flap harder to get around. Every few stages there's a bonus stage where balloons emerge from a pipe, and if you collect them all you get a large amount of bonus points. If you are down to 1 balloon, reaching one of these bonus stages gives you the second balloon back. One thing you'll notice about Balloon Fight is that there are no extra lives. No extra life for clearing the bonus stage, no extra life for getting enough points. You have 3 lives, and that's it. The 2-player game is simultaneous, and players can pop each other's balloons. Game C is Balloon Trip. There are no enemies. Your only goal is to see how far you can go in a randomly spawning field of stars. The first couple screens have a set pattern, and then after that they spawn randomly and move up and down, and then after you clear that wave of stars, they gain some lateral movement. If you collect 20 balloons without any balloon going off the right-hand side of the screen, the balloons change color and become worth more points. You can do that twice. If you do it further, you still get the chime when you do it, but no additional points. Because the stars are randomly spawned, sometimes it can be pretty difficult to find your way through them. Grabbing a bubble stops the screen's forward movement, and if the stars are moving, it freezes them in place as well. That gives you more time to collect any balloons that are on screen, but more likely you'll just be waiting for the screen to start moving again. The thing that makes Balloon Fight special, I think, is that it controls so smoothly. The way that your momentum shifts as you flap feels very natural. If you try to go fast, you'll probably go out of control, bouncing off surfaces and flying into the birds. A careful, measured flapping will let you keep control and make it through some of those tight gaps. Balloon Fight was Iwata's favorite game that he worked on, and as a result, it has a tendency to keep coming up in Nintendo products. It got a very good port to arcades as Versus Balloon Fight, and extremely late in the Famicom's life, there was a sequel. Kind of. It really is a sequel. We're at the end of an era here. Balloon Fight is the final single-screen arcade game that Nintendo is going to release. Nintendo's development efforts have changed focus. Balloon Fight makes a pretty good last hurrah for that style of game.